He is charming, but we about the bank. I want your money, I want my money, I want your money. I stay standing, hovering over his shoulder in case I need to act up, in case I need to show out. Hovering over him like a decoration. Aw. Guess what we're finally gonna play today? I know I got a little distracted from our Obscura train. I know yell at me. I apologize. Not really, because the other games are fun too. But today we are headed back into our Oleander. We finally get to play Oleander. I'm excited. He's the one that scares me the most. He looks like he scares me more than Sirius. And that's saying something. Because Sirius is... He is... I'm excited. You're excited. Let's do it. So... let's see if we gonna regret this. I don't think we is. But it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. No one believed I would survive a day down here, and I did. I'll survive Oleander too. Will we? I find the woman with a sword easily enough. In a packed hall, she is still given plenty of space. I'm looking for vindication. You've come to the right place. She opens the door for me, stepping back just enough to let me slip inside. She closes the door behind her. There's a lantern on the table, burning as dimly as it's possible to be without it going out completely. The chairs look plush, something I can confirm when I take a seat. It takes some time for Oleander to show up, in the little room barely bigger than a closet, and with nothing to pass the time. I can't tell how long I've been there. I practically jump in my seat when the door swings open. He looked like trouble. And not in the sexy cure way. He just looked like trouble. And I'm gonna get you in trouble. Well, you're here. Excellent. Apologies for the wait. I'm a man of high demand these days. Took a while to shake off my admirers. I suppose I should thank you for your time. You're welcome. No, I only supposed I should thank you. I hadn't yet. Get him, Muzz! Get him and get him, Sleepy! But, in supposing it out loud, you made your intentions clear to me. And thus, you're very welcome. Jesus. He slides into the seat opposite mine, setting a wine glass down in front of himself. Wine? No more for me, thanks. I've got plenty. Still playing games? Sure. Now, the first order of business. What's your name? If I tell you now, you'll have no reason to stay. Nonsense. You and I both know you have my attention. I'll hear you out, but I don't make deals with people hiding their names. Even though I could very well invent a name on the spot, just for you. Just for me. I'm touched you do such a thing. So much tension and they just met. He pauses for a second, but starts talking again before I can get a word out. It's the principle of the thing, you see. Someone once called themselves no one, and I didn't spot the problem in time. They betrayed your trust and then they forced you to say, no one wronged me. Close enough. Give me a false name for that false face of yours. He holds out his hand. I'm sleepy. Then go take a nap. Okay. I take his hand and shake it once, firmly. Then I take my hand back under my cloak. No need to give him more body language to read. Pleasure to meet you. Most people aren't able to play these little games of mine at my level. Anyone who can is worth knowing. You caught my eye from across the room. A little flattery can't hurt. Oh, you mean you saw me and decided that you had to know more about a man of such obvious wealth and charm? Caught my eye might be a misstatement. I heard laughter and had to know the reason. I wasn't expecting a clown, but in hindsight, that was the obvious answer. Jesus! Oh my God! Get him. Don't bruise my ego too badly now. I need that. The charm. It's always the charm with me. It's always the freaking charm. Boys, he has loads of it. Well, now you know who I am. Or at least the important things. What do you want? It's the first thing from his mouth that doesn't sound like part of his game. This is the test, then. Lunar Ichor. I can almost hear him testing the odds in his head, deciding whether or not to believe me. Many people want Lunar Ichor. Of course they do, but I need it. That is already more information than I want to give, and it seems like Oleander can tell. Did I pass the test? Well, that sounds terribly serious. He's saying it with a smile so big I could hear it. Let me guess, Sleepy. You've been around and no one's selling the stuff. Worse than that, you're never going to be able to afford what it costs anyways. Then you find a fancy party with a host who's obviously got coin, and you think to yourself that he might be your ticket to rare and valuable objects. I do have to wonder what your plan for wringing Ichor out of me would be. I'll do work. Any kind of work. Any kind of work? Don't make promises you don't intend to keep. The threat is obvious, and I've already made my choice. Anything. As long as I'm alive at the end, I don't care. Oleander sucks in a breath through his teeth. Don't say that now. Sometimes being alive is the worst thing that can happen to you. I stand by what I said. There's another pause. I let it hang there. I'm not about to change what I've said, no matter what Oleander suggests. Well then, Sleepy, I have some interesting news for you. I take it you don't know my career. Either you've earned your wealth or were born into it. I earned it. As much as you might doubt me. I call myself a lot of things, depending on who's listening. But I think the most apt term for someone like me is smuggler. I don't go between the topside and marketplace as much anymore. But there isn't much that enters or leaves the mountain without me knowing. Then you would... I am probably your best hope for finding Lunar Ichor here. Dang. I was about to say, I feel like of all of the people we've met so far, he would probably be the best bet because he knows everything. Oh, scary. Okay. And it just so happens that I am currently looking for a new assistant. a cute assistant. Hire me. What happened to the last one? No. What happened to the last one before I get into anything crazy, sir? What happened to your last assistant? Oh, he found himself a new opportunity. Sleeping his way to the top of a gambling house. Good for him. That's what I said. Do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life, they say. That said, I wouldn't like to have to recruit another assistant so soon. So if you would be so kind to stay with me and not be seduced by anyone else. Yes, Big Daddy. I could do that. I'm probably not gonna find a better option. I'll take it. Heavy side eye. Sounds good. I'll take the job. Then you're hired. It's that easy? Oh, there's one more thing. Here's the catch. All of my assistants go by vigil while on the job. You'll have to agree to that. Oh, is that all? I know it's just one more name to put on your pile. You're clearly someone who uses a new fake name with everyone. But I hope you can endure it. I love him. This is terrible. I think I can tolerate it for now. Good. He reaches out to me once again, so I respond with yet another handshake. Before I can pull my hand away, however, he grips it more firmly. Sir? I hope that working with you is as pleasurable as our conversations have been. He brings my hand up and presses it to the painted mouth of his mask. Then he lets go of my hand and tips his head to the side. I know without needing to see that he's smirking. It's a strange gesture, but it takes a second to recollect my thoughts after it. There's a second of silence, but Oleander is quick to fill it with a time and place to meet up tomorrow, as well as more mundane details about the work. If he's being honest about everything, the pay will even be decent. The clock tower rings twice. I have no remaining frame of reference to know if it's indicating the middle of the night, the early afternoon, or some mysterious third alternative. What I do know is that I am in the right place at the right time. 2 o'clock at the Candle Park. Vigil, pleased to see you here. You say that like you're surprised to see me. I thought you might just take my secrets and run. I have learned a great deal about Oleander's business. Above ground, I will call him a merchant. He sells good from the underground and purchases good from the above ground. He connects buyers and sellers. It's the kind of goods he's trading that mark him as unusual. No live humans, thankfully, but I saw a box of teeth that looked nauseatingly familiar among the goods he was sending out. Then there was the magical goods and the allegedly magical goods. I guess this means you've been ensnared by my good looks and winning personality. There's no way I've learned all your secrets yet. Oh, is that all you want from me? Well, that and your little charm. He is charming. But we about the bank. I want your money. I want my money. I want your money. Your money's pretty good too. Oh, so mercenary of you. Aren't you even a little glad to see me again? Honestly, yes. When I woke up today, I was looking forward to seeing him again. Even if he's a danger, and I'm certain he is, he's at least an entertaining one. We said... I do love me some Oleander so far. He's very cute. But from our first meeting, I've known enough about him to know that saying that would make him intolerably smug. Fishing for compliments already. Do you need my approval that bad? He drops his voice down in pitch and in volume. There's a difference between need and want, Sleepy. One I would be glad to demonstrate. The tone of his voice is so outrageously vulgar that it stops my thoughts dead for a moment. Later, that is. We have work to do. He sweeps his jacket around, being extra bougie, and turns into motion, making his way to a sweetly decorated tea shop. I keep in step just slightly behind him. The first word that comes to mind when I step inside is frou-frou, just like me. The decor isn't garnished, but it's very bright and intricate. The lamps are blazing brightly compared to anywhere I've been. The walls are practically lined with paper and fabric flowers, bursting forth in fragrant, frothy bouquets. Someone has lit incense or sprayed perfume in the air. Forgive me for saying so, but this doesn't look like your kind of place. When Oleander told me we would be going to a tea shop, I imagined a moody, smoke-filled back room. That does give Oleander. Perhaps that's a failure of my own imagination. Oh no. This definitely is not my kind of place. Or not. We are here because of our next potential client. We navigate the tightly packed tables and chairs and stop at one table with a man sitting at it. The man is plain, even scruffy. He's slouching so deeply and crossed his arms so tightly it's hard to tell if he's extraordinarily short or just trying to look small. It's our short king! Ah! I miss Griff. We were besties and he just didn't want to admit it. It's okay. Pleasure to see you again, Griff. Oleander takes a seat and I follow suit. Why the sugar-dusted fluff are we meeting here? Because I knew you'd say something excellent like sugar-dusted fluff about it. Oleander sounds entirely too pleased with himself. And who's this? He jerks his chin in my direction. I'm your best friend. This is Vigil. Rude. Kick him under the table. Leave it be. If you're new here, welcome. It's nice to meet you. If you're not, y'all know how we do it. First, we do everything that Sleepy would do. Kick him. It's not an easy angle, but I'm able to give Oleander a swift kick to the shin. He hardly flinches, but I wasn't aiming to hurt him, to be fair. But does glance over at me. Message sent. Another one? What happened to the last one? He found himself a more satisfying career elsewhere. Good for him. I love how that's all everybody's reactions. Good for him. This new Vigil is quite good, though. Picks things up quickly. She's right here, too, and very capable of speaking for herself. The last Vigil never talks. Glad you got more guts. I love Griff. He's like, yeah. Maybe he just couldn't get a word in edgewise with this man as a boss. Griff chuckles. It's not a contest, but I do feel like I'm winning. A member of the waitstaff comes by asking for our orders. Oleander orders tea, and Griff orders what sounds like a very expensive cake. I want cake. Didn't hesitate. I asked the waitstaff for a recommendation of something light. They advised me to order a slice of cake that should be lighter than air and a cup of tea to go alongside it, so I do. If you're quite finished slandering me, I do have a business proposition for you. When don't you? Oleander brushes past the comment. I've received some information from a very trusted source that a witch ring is currently available. Fluff me a witch ring? That's fun. A witch ring? A wish wing? A wish wing? Fluff me a witch ring? Actually? So, I've been led to believe it's currently in the hands of our beloved auctioneer. No. No fluffing way. Not the auction, the auctioneer. She's currently living in an apartment above the Pearl Choker. So you the one that we had to do the thing for. It's interesting how they're all so intertwined. But I've noticed, okay, so like Griff and Kier are intertwined, and Oleander and Francesco were at the same party. So like they're probably in the same ring since they're wealthy. But like Sirius, he's the only one who's like a little out the way. I'm sure we'll find out more soon, but like, I've been to the apartment once. It was well protected, but it's certainly not the same level as the auction house. It's not watertight or mouse-proof. Okay, I'm listening. I thought you might. Vigil, if you would. Oleander holds out a hand. I dig through my pocket and hand over an egg-shaped gold capsule. I paid a very pretty penny for this information, so I expect you not to wreck what has been a very fruitful relationship. You don't need to put on the scary mask for this, man. You know I'm not about to screw you over. If you didn't kill me, Kier would. Daddy, I miss Kier, even though we were fighting the whole time. If you didn't kill me, Kier would. Oleander hands over the capsule. Griff cracks it open and lets the 2 gold halves fall to the table. He unfolds the papers that were packed inside the egg and starts reading, punching himself over the pages to protect them from prying eyes. I sweep the 2 egg halves across the table towards me and pocket them again just as our order arrives. Without looking, Griff begins devouring his cake as he keeps reading. I love Griff so much. Oh, I put the paper in an egg if I'm just gonna be giving him the papers and keeping the egg. A mystery for another time. What do you think? I think you gotta stop rushing me. Not all of us read as fast as you. Get him. You're already getting into the detailed pages. What do you think about the broad strokes? I think... Griff closes his fist around the paper, turning them into a crunkled tube. That I gotta talk to Kier about this. It's a good job. We could do it if we're at full capacity. And you're not? Gups got hurt during a freelance gig. Poor Gups. I know that tone of voice. Oleander does not know who or what a Gups is, but he needs to sound sympathetic and keeps the conversation going. Well, you know where to send word if you take the job or drop it. I'll be down in the neighborhood with supplies soon enough. Looking forward to it. In the meantime, send Kier my love. Griff's tone is one of irritation. Don't make me say that. Kier hates hearing that. Sounds right. Exactly how I'm saying it. You're the worst. I am a delight that you... I am a fucking delight. I am a delight that you can never get enough of. Your money is a delight, that's for sure. Charming as ever, Griff. Griff stands up and leaves without as much as a farewell. Oleander and I are left sitting at the table with Griff's empty plate. So... that was Griff. He's going to be your best friend. Don't worry. In a different life, he's your best friend. He's a funny one, isn't he? That's one way to say it. I started on my cake. Oleander pours himself a cup of tea. And who's Kier? An old friend? I think that's what he'd say. He probably wouldn't say that. Well, that's something to look into later. And you sent him your love because... You heard, Griff. Kier will find it deeply annoying, and I think that's amusing. For someone so enamored with their own wit and charm, you sure are dedicated to being an absolute pest about it. The word for me that you're looking for... is debonair. Got fancy with it. Debonair. The word I'm looking for is Gadfly. You know, I've heard people call me that before, but it sounds so much more interesting coming from you. But enough about me. That's a rare sentence. Why are we going in on Big Daddy like this, even though he deserves it? I have a very nice pot of tea that needs to be drunk. Okay, but hear me out. Give us an Oleander and Kier crossover. I want to see them interacting because I have reasons. Not all of them are PG and or PG-13 or even R. But that's what I get for being horny. I do think it would be hilarious to see. I feel like Kier would be shaking in his boots with Oleander, not because of like fear or like anything like that, but because Oleander would be on his booty like a tootie. He would be in his face like just flirting hardcore for no reason, just to mess with the poor guy. And I would like to see that. I would like to see that. To the creators, you're welcome for that idea. He unlatches his mask with a slow deliberateness that makes it look like he's putting on a show. Then he raises his teacup, takes a slow sip, lets out a satisfied moan, and chuckles. Excellent stuff. I suppose a shop as dedicated to the botanical arts as this one would have some skill in making tea. I wonder if they'd tell me their source. It's idle wondering, but it makes me smirk a little. Oleander seemed to get drawn back into work without much prompting. How is your cake, Sleepy? Give me a nickname. I want him to nickname me. give me a like little star, like my star. I miss you. Look at me, my star. Big Daddy. Soon. Delicious. Thank you for asking. And are you going to share? It sounds like you want me to share. Yes, but that isn't what I asked. Now is it? Whatever. Are you going to share? Well, that depends on what course of action you take. You're never not a businessman, are you? Oh, trade doesn't occupy my whole life, but I do find life to be better when a mutually pleasurable option is available. The hint of flirtation is getting under my skin. Without another word, I take a bit of the cake onto my fork and hold it out to him. He leans in, slowly and deliberately. I can't see his eyes exactly, but I can't shake the feeling he's staring directly at me as he closes his mouth around the bit of cake. Then he pulls back and I see the smirk this time as he says, hold on guys, I gotta get myself together really quick. Exquisite. I'm keenly aware that I'm being teased. But damn, it's working. He lifts his own teacup and holds it out for me. This is so charged. I'm flustered. Your turn. I'll take the drink. I have to put my hands around Oleander's to guide the cup to my mouth. The tea is ginger hot and sharply bitter. It's a complex flavor, and I let it sit on my tongue for a while. Good, isn't it? It's a powerful taste. When we're done eating and undressing each other with our eyes, we pay and leave the little tea house. Oleander promises to forward a list of things I need to do in the next few days. Chores, from the sound of it. Bruna! A letter arrived for you. Bruna sets down my bowl of porridge as well as the letter and leaves. I love Bruna. Bruna, I'm sorry. The letter itself has been scented with some kind of perfume, thick enough to be able to smell through my mask. He's so extra. Sleepy. A client of mine is hosting an impromptu little party, and I have been told that I may bring whoever the current vigil along. I suppose I wasn't doing anything else today. Searching the stalls and trying to pull rumors from shopkeepers is important work, but sometimes I long for a break from it. I'm really starting to appreciate Oleander's intrusions into my otherwise monotonous schedule. Here is your checklist to accomplish before the clock strikes 7 tonight. He makes me want to just. But then call me baby girl. The rest of the letter is a list of locations and what I am to do at each, and where we'll be meeting. Tonight. Clothing rental, a wine shop, and some place called Satine, where I'm supposed to pick something nice. Okay. The makings of a very exciting party from the sounds of it. It makes my very ordinary porridge feel rather dull in comparison. Still, I'm not gonna let my breakfast go to waste. Yes. Checking Oleander's directions against my own mental map, the shops are laid out so there's no efficient way to visit them at all. I'm free to take them in any order I please. Where do I want to go first? Let's go to... let's go get my gift first. Satine is impossible to miss. The sign is large and freshly painted in bright colors that stand out against the darkness. It's also busy. I step inside and the noise does not diminish even in the slightest bit. Satine is huge and labyrinthine, and there must be dozens of people wandering the mazes of shelves. Oleander's instructions were to pick something nice, something decorative to wear, a gift for whoever is hosting, something for Oleander? I suppose it's up to me. I square my shoulders and face the labyrinth. I can already feel the warm, stuffy air starting to gather around my cloak. I don't think I'm going to stay here for long. For a second, I attempt to look around everything in the tall stacks of shelves, packed tight with curious, but that's a fool's errand. There's no way to take in everything in this shop. I will have to fully surrender myself to the chaos. I start walking and stop fully on a whim. There's a counter sitting up against a wall that is stacked high with papers. For a second look, I think nothing of it. Then I realize the papers must be on sale. Picking one at random from the pile, I found instead of coverless booklet. The pages sewn together. Each page of the illustration is annotated in a step-by-step guide through the autopsy of an anatomical drawings. Anatomical drawing, like body? Autopsy. Is this gonna come in handy in the second part of the game? I want to keep looking around though. I return the booklet to the counter. Unsatisfied, I continue turning to the crossroad of shelves. Sitting on a chair, a table set marked for sale, are a collection of toys. Most of them are very much for children, wooden horses and straw dolls. But there are the small doll that stands out from the rest. Its face has been painted over to give it a mask. It's also wearing a hooded cape. This isn't a toy from above. It was made for children of the marketplace. That sounds very sweet. We'll see. Let's keep going. I'm not the right person for the doll, I decide. I set it back amongst its friends. One more try. If I fail to find anything of interest, I'll just meet Oleander empty-handed. For no reason at all, I pick up one of the many anonymous boxes on the shelves and peek inside. There's a scalpel and strangely shaped scissors, and what looks like a syringe. All of them have lost their edges. I don't want that. So I went to go see if I reloaded, I can get like any different gifts, and I did. So I find myself in a little alcove with a selection of snakes decorating the walls. They're all golden in color with segmented bodies, so they can be shaped. It's just a decorative item, but it's an eye-catching one. Let's go with that one. I take my find to the crowded payment desk. When it's my turn, I have to speak quite loudly to be heard. Does the name Oleander mean anything to you? It does. They look at my find placed on the counter. Are you sure you want to use his favor for that? I am. I have no idea what his favor is worth, but I can't think of worse things to spend it on. The shopkeeper shrugs, but hands me a little tag. I take my new trinket and head to the door. I let out the shop only when I show a black cloaked figure the tag. Nice cloak. Likewise. And that is the end of my little adventure at Satine. Nice cloak. You too. You too. Since we're going up, we'll go down. We'll go to the wine shop next. The wine shop doesn't have a name that I can see, and when I go inside, there's a little more than a room to stand in. This is not a normal wine shop. I shouldn't be surprised, given the instructions Oleander wrote for retrieving the wine included be polite. They also include don't spoil the surprise. Hello? The silence makes the hair on the back of my arms stand on end, but I refuse to be cowed by the empty room of all things. You're supposed to ring the bell at the door. I almost jump. I turn to the left and see the shopkeeper wearing a heavily starched dress and a mask that clings tight to her face emerge from a hidden door. Be polite. Sorry, I didn't think to look there. Are you some kind of peasant, just strutting into any door that pleases you? What? I'm sorry? She don't know me. I'm from the... Did you come in off the street, you stupid thing? I curl my toes tightly in my shoes. Polite. I was sent here by my employer. He didn't write about a bell in his note either. Employer? Oh no. You're not one of absence vigil things, are you? I am. Sorry to disappoint you. Have we met before? I'd remember you if that were the case. I see too many peasants. I don't try to tell them apart anymore. I would be happy to get out of your way, except I don't think Oleander would be happy if I did that without picking up the wine he ordered first. Oh, is he Oleander now? It seems he still doesn't know how to pick names. Get him. I was just mad at her. Get him. I take it my employer hasn't always called himself Oleander. No, he rather fancies himself sly and keeps changing his name as if changing his name will hide who he is when he insists on always wearing that ridiculous coat. Peasants you may be, but at least you're a sensible sort. You keep your looks plain. Polite. Thank you. Wait here and I'll bring you your Oleander's wine. She's gone for a little while and I feel so much better because we didn't need that negative energy in our space. And when she returns, she is carrying 2 bottles of wine. They are unlabeled and, as far as I can tell, identical. Pick your poison. Left is never deft. I don't know what that means. Good. The shopkeeper takes the bottles and disappears again. I've given up trying to understand what is happening here. Good. She comes back with a labeled bottle and a wine glass, with a dram of wine in the glass. Would you like a taste? I don't think I'm supposed... Don't spoil the surprise. Wouldn't the drink be the surprise? I'm not gonna do it. No, thank you. Oleander's instructions told me not to spoil the surprise, and this is probably what he meant by that. I take my chosen bottle and slip it into my bag. It's not convenient by any stretch, but it'll do. I would like you to leave now. I can do that. I can do that. That's something we can agree on. The shopkeeper doesn't want me to linger, and I don't want to linger, so I don't. I can cross the wine shop, if that's what it was, off the list and get on with my day. Rental clothing! Clothing? Wow, I said that wrong. The shop I reach when I follow the written directions is a little hole in the wall place. Literally. The shop door sits on what is otherwise the cavern's bare rock face. Huh. Entering, I am met with a dizzying array of colors, formalware of every kind being shown on racks and on the walls. Someone is also playing a mandolin quite badly. Oh, it's not that bad. How sweet. Ugh, I'm sorry, I had to go back and check. Oleander's letter was quite vague on what I'm supposed to do here, though the implication is obvious. Hello? The mandolin playing stops, and a head pops out from between two of the clothing racks. Oh crap! Sorry, hello! They stumble out from between the racks. My best guess is they're a teenager who has not gotten used to their growth spurt yet, based on their clumsiness and gangly height. I never grew past 5'2" and a half. Take my half. Oh, welcome to the dress cave. Crap, sorry, the silk web. Without thinking, I raise my hand to hide my face, obscuring a smile that they wouldn't be able to see regardless. The gesture honestly just makes what I'm thinking even more obvious. I was told by your employer that I should come here to rent some formal wear for a party this evening. Your employer? I'm Vigil, if that helps. There's a beat of silence and then... Oh, now I know what the boss meant. Perfect, this is easy. Mr. Absinthe has a tab with us, so just pick out what you want and he'll pay for it later. You know... I don't mind being a sugar baby because that's kind of what it feels like. It kind of feels like he taking me on dates and I'm just his sugar baby. And it feels kind of like the good life, I'm not gonna lie. We don't really have time to tailor it for tonight, but we have a lot of clothes, so it should be easy to find something that will fit close enough. So I'm not picking something up for him? I'm getting something for myself. Since you're not pinning your cloak closed, I can see bits of what you're wearing underneath when you move. It looks like good, sturdy clothes. I'm certain you mean well, but you do have a good reason to want me, or my employer, spending here. If you don't mind me saying, you should... Oh, it's not like that. It's not money, it's just... Since you're not pinning your cloak closed, I can see bits of what you're wearing underneath when you move. They look like good, sturdy clothes, but Oleander wants me to wear something frivolous, because that's a sign he has money to spend on clothes just for making his assistant look pretty. I'm part of the show now, so I should dress the part. Exactly. And the money doesn't hurt. Come on, sugar daddy. Yeah. Very well, I'm convinced. How does anyone find things in this dressing cave? If you like, you can tell me what style you like and your approximate measurements, and I'll pick out some pieces from the back. There's a lot in the back. All right. I prefer feminine, androgynous, masculine. Choices. I like feminine clothes. Okay, I'll pull out a few styles for you. The shopkeeper vanishes into the back shop, presumably a cave claimed by the shop to store inventory. They come back with a sampling of clothes, Suit jackets for trousers or skirts, dresses in every style I can imagine, even a delicate bodysuit that feels a little too daring. Put it on! Put it on so we can go show out, because then he'll for real be like, Sleepy? I'm like, hot girl shit. Then again, I will be wearing a cloak the whole time. Please get it. I hope we get it. We whittled down the options, with the shopkeeper occasionally dropping back into the cave to find something closer to my size. In the end, I'm left with two options that suit my taste for the occasion and fit well enough. An elegant black gown and a bright blood red skirt that pairs with a red bejeweled wrap around my chest. Both are finer than anything I've ever owned in my life. Either of them would work, I think. A fancy outfit is meant to send a message, isn't it? So the last thing to choose is what message I want to send. Even with the cloak on, the red could catch people's eyes. The black under the cloak can trick people's eyes instead if the lighting's right. It'll look like you're a void. Catching the eye or creating mystery. What do I want? What does Oleander want? Girl, you know he wants you to show out. I'll show out for daddy. The red one. If Oleander is dressing flamboyantly to show off his wealth and catch eyes, I assume that as visual he wants me to do the same. And if I can catch some eyes and start some conversations, well, that suits me fine. Thanks for your help. I don't think I could have braved the dress cave alone. Everything about the shopkeeper's hunched posture and looking deliberately to the side screams embarrassment. Glad I could help. Oh, I love him. I'm out of the shop soon enough with my rental clothes wrapped in a parcel. It feels criminal to leave the shop without paying, but I will have to return my finds in one piece. It isn't mine to spoil. Well, that's a chore accomplished. What's next? I follow Oleander's final direction to a squat apartment building. I have to climb 2 flights of creaky stairs to find the room indicated in the letter. I knock. Oleander? The door's unlocked, darling. I did the voice and got annoyed. It takes a little maneuvering to twist the doorknob when I am carrying several parcels, but I get it done. The room I enter is heavily perfumed, with elegant lamps on every flat surface and an abundance of colorful fabric draped on the ceiling. Bougie. Welcome to my parlor. Oleander is lounging in a well-loved armchair, his head tipped back. You must only see a sliver of me through the eye holes of his mask. I didn't realize that as an assistant I would be doing your shopping. This is a shop trip for your benefit. He stands up. Well, what kind of treasures did you find? I hand him the wine bottle. Good job not spoiling the surprise. The shopkeeper called me a peasant. A pheasant. Not even a peasant, it's a pheasant. Oh my God. Don't mind her. That is just her way. We parted on good terms, I think. Oh. She was happy to be rid of me, and I was happy to leave. A happy arrangement for you both, then. What else did you find? You went to Satine, like I told you. I did. Good vigil. I roll my eyes, but bring out my discovery. Here. Now that's a sight. Those used to be very popular decor items in my favorite parlors. You just need some snake jewelry to complete the picture. He dropped his voice low and he's smiling. I can hear it. Is he flirting? Anyways, you haven't neglected to rent clothes, have you? I went to the dress cave. Then you've met poor Bobbin. He's some kind of cousin to the owner. That's the reason he works there. He's not well suited to the job. He's doing his best. He was funny. He was doing his best. I liked Baby Boy. He was fun. He was doing his best to help me. I don't doubt that. That's rather the problem. if that's his best. Oleander. I doubt he'll be in the merchant business much longer. I bring out my parcel, but don't open it. Do I get to see it? Once I'm wearing it, maybe. If you're going to keep me in suspense like this, I suspect it'll be very good. If you get your hopes up too high, I'll never meet your expectations. I will set my hopes as high as I please. If you want to satisfy me, you'll simply have to work for it. Okay. With that, he starts in on party preparations. He is going in his usual outfit. He has a brand he needs to maintain. He handles the wine while I go to a small side room to get dressed. I re-enter the parlor with my cloak wrapped tightly around me. Ah, Sleepy, do I finally get to see what outfit you've chosen? Show him or show out? Show out! Show out! I spread my arms wide, lifting my cloak away from my body. I pull it back to my left side and then to my right, turning my body to give him a better look. We said, I love it. Then, on impulse, I turn on the spot, letting my cloak flare up and out. Oleander claps. Bravo, Sleepy. Unless you keep your cloak closed at every turn, you're going to be noticed wearing something like that. Like you and your coat? Very much like me and my coat. I suppose you want to advertise your wealth and access. As your assistant, I would be advertising your wealth, wouldn't I? That goes without saying, but I wouldn't be surprised if you're approached privately tonight. Plenty of assistants and apprentices build their initial clientele while working for someone else. I'm a faithful girl, baby. Worried about competition for me? Not remotely. If you think you're up to it, come and get me. At any rate, you've chosen something stunning. You'll have to chase off work offers with a stick. I wasn't planning on taking a different job. Your rate is quite good. Good. Stick with that. And as an incentive. He steps to the side and picks up a parcel off a chair. A gift. This one you can keep. I open the parcel and out spills a length of slate gray fabric, thick and smooth. In the fabric there is a shimmering pattern. I thought you might still wear your cloak over your very fine outfit. If you must, at least wear something worthy of the event and your own charms. Something clatters to the floor. A heavy silver brooch has fallen out of the folds of the fabric. You're not gonna ask this back from me? It would hardly be a gift in that case. And I don't owe you money for this? It's a gift, Sleepy, not a debt. It's yours. Thank you. And anyways, it came to me at no great cost. A lovely young thing forgot it here several months back. I just found a brooch to finish the outfit. I roll my eyes. Leftovers from a previous conquest? Thanks. It's clean and it's yours now, so stop grousing and get changed. Yes, sir. I do, and then we're off to the party. The party is hosted in a mansion, of course. There is no formal government within the underground, but there are the richest and the most powerful families in it, the lords of the marketplace. We go beyond the ruby walls to the center of one of the richest neighborhoods. The mansion is whitewashed and lights flood from the open doors and windows. There's several stories to it, but there's a strangeness to the architecture. It feels put together from disparate pieces, as though the mansion was expanded several times and each was designed by a different hand. Well, it's nice to see the Lord Valentine is continuing his explorations into the world of architecture. This is new? The wing we're entering was not here the last time I visited. Though, in fairness, that was in another life. We pass through a gate and are met with several attendants. Here's my invitation, and this is my +1, Vigil. Welcome, sir. I was running out of voices. We pass into the mansion. The main room is open and tall, and at least 2 stories. There are balconies overlooking the main ballroom floor, and I can see some heads turning our way as we enter. A member of the staff approaches, and Oleander is quick to hand over the bottle of wine. Send this to Clarity. Then he directs his attention my way. Tell me honestly now, what is your drinking tolerance? I can hold my own. I got some tolerance. I don't drink. Then, now is not the time to start. Keep yourself sober. I wasn't planning on getting drunk. Let me be clearer. The number of drinks that is acceptable for you to have tonight is none. Is that in order, sir? Sass all you like, but this is work for you and I. Just because it's happening while others play doesn't mean we get to fool around the same. When do we get to fool around? We stop loitering at the door. Oleander is quick to spot someone. Is that my favorite bell ringer over there? Someone turns. Their mouth is uncovered, so I can see their transformation from confusion to happiness as it happens. Son of a gun, it's Oleander! And that is all it takes for significant attention to come our way. Oh my goodness. We missed you, darling. How has your business been lately? How could you stay away from us for so long? He revels in it. He is in his element. I have been pining away from these parties since I've been gone. Unfortunately, there was a very good opportunity waiting for me in the dust chambers, and I couldn't resist. You went down to the dust chambers, and it makes for a very good story. But first, he gently waves an arm in my direction. And I would come. I'm the newest Vigil. Pleased to meet you. These feel like the kind of people who expect to be bowed at, so I give them a deep nod. Now, I did notice you. I was hoping you would. I sway slightly, letting my cloak sway, and reveal a little more of my outfit. This is a daring Vigil, Oleander. Not like your last one. I'm rather fond of this Vigil. New though she may be, the last Vigil has skill, but was not much of a social being. Though I heard the last Vigil found something very social to do for himself. Ha, yes, he did. I was disappointed to learn he was leaving, but I can't fault him for his reasons. You, on the other hand, he turns to me. I expect you to stay by my side for a long time to come. Yes, sir. No running off to get a job as a pleasure parlor bunny. You hear? Yes, sir. What are you gonna do to keep it? Yeah, work for it, daddy. Work for it. I don't know. Being a pleasure parlor bunny sounds pretty fun. What are you going to offer to compete? I offer you good wages and an education, and you demand more. There are some unique benefits to working at a pleasure parlor. Well, Vigil, I think these kinds of contract negotiations better happen in private, unless this public negotiation is another benefit. I can't help but laugh. Oh crap, he's found another one like him. You two are gonna be unbearable. Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. No, don't say that. You'll make my poor Vigil feel terrible. If you're going to flirt with your assistant, I'm going to feel terrible. Spoil sport. Oh, very well. Vigil, go and enjoy yourself. Enjoy a nibble or two. If I need you, I'll track you down. Alright. I'd frankly rather stay with Oleander, given that I'm his +1 and he's the only person I know here. But I am intrigued by what kind of food gets served at a party like these. Same! I'm like, ooh, let's go see what they got to eat. There are several tables laid out for guests, each of them unique. I pick one at random and start putting little nibbles wrapped in thin, crackling layers of fried dough on a plate. The flavors. There's also a member of the staff at one end of the table with a selection of bottles. Didn't he tell me not to drink? I'm a bad noodle though. I don't even like alcohol. I'm okay with the food. I am not gonna go against earlier in this order that I am not to drink tonight. Work is not a place to test my tolerance for drinks. I'm walking through the hall, just observing the people, when someone taps me on the shoulder. Excuse me. I turn around and see a person with a brightly painted theater mask and a suit. Sorry to bother you, but I noticed you coming in with Mr. Oleander. I did. I'm his assistant, Vigil. Elmwood, pleased to meet you. They shake my hand firmly. What can I do for you? I wanted to make a deal with Mr. Oleander, but setting up a meeting has been difficult. He doesn't have a consistent office or anything like that, so you just have to know him or someone close to him first. And getting those connections can be really hard. Someone in this party he hasn't met? Is that for a reason? Well, what kind of deal are you looking to strike? Might as well fill them out before I make any promises. My business partner is an alchemist. There's already a strong network for most alchemical supplies here, but well, most of those merchants have strong surface identities. And they won't trade in certain items? Exactly. We need someone who is trustworthy and willing to work this less savory supplies. Human parts, strong toxins, intoxicants, rare magical goods. I know he's not cheap, but he's reliable and we're willing to pay for that. You sound suspicious. They know what they're getting into, at least. I'll arrange a meeting. I'll trust you. This isn't a call I can make. I'm sorry, but I don't think I can help you with this. Are you sure? I am. Don't worry though, Oleander's social network is enormous. You may find access through someone else. They sound a little cross, but they keep their voice even. Thank you for your time. With that, the encounter is over with. I continue my exploration of the hall. Care for a drink? Someone steps in front of me, holding out 2 wine glasses. What? Sorry, I couldn't help but notice you, and I thought it was better. And I thought this was the best way to break the ice. I'm Adonis. Vigil? It's a pleasure to meet you, Vigil. Now, about that drink. I'm not supposed to drink. Big Daddy said no. No wine for me, but thank you for the offer. Are you sure it's quite good? He sips from his own glass. I'm sure. Very well then. Also, I'm a girl. I learned to not take drinks at parties. Unless I saw the bartender make it with my eyes. I ain't accepting no drink for no party, especially in the underground. I need to know you for 3 to 5 business years. Nope. Even, actually, it might be 10 to 15. 40. He places the glass on the tray of a passing staff member and smirks. With his mouth exposed, I can see a handsome crookedness in his smile. And what was that about catching your eye? I confess, it was seeing a peek of your outfit from underneath your cloak. That's a very clever way to make seeing your outfit feel a little more forbidden. Well, I dressed to impress, specifically you. I'm pleased it worked. If I'd known you were dressing for me, I would have picked a more daring opening move. Next time. There's a promise in the words, next time. Well, don't let me stop you from your turn around the room. But if a conversation partner would be amenable to you, I could be convinced. I don't like him. I don't want to be convinced. I start walking, and Adonis keeps my pace, staying close enough to me to make it clear we're walking together without crowding me. If random strangers are going to approach me out of nowhere, I can only hope all of them have Adonis's social graces. Well then, where are you taking us? I've found my greatest joy in the marketplace to be wandering around and seeing what happens, so I intend to continue that. Just wandering? Surely a capable guide could give you a better time. Oh, I'm certain one could. My employer gave me directions to Satine, and that was a fascinating shop, or labyrinth. Oh, good old Satine. What an institution. I'm certain you found something fascinating. Oh yes, I rather found my new snake. However, I only found my employer in the first place through wandering the marketplace. Well, consider this. You have wandered over my path now. Perhaps I'm like your employer, someone who can provide another map to the marketplace. I'm considering it. What sort of wonders would you guide me to? Adonis begins talking quickly and with enthusiasm for the food of the underground. That's cute. Every kind of person lives under the mountain, and they brought every type of cuisine with them. And then there are business agreements and marriages, and suddenly there are new combinations of flavors. I think it's fair to say he likes food. That's actually really cute. As he continues talking, he subtly begins taking the lead of our stroll. He brings us down the hall away from the main room and in through the many doors. Why he getting me alone? In-game me, we know better than this. Only time you can do this is with Kier. With Kier and Sirius. I would do it with Sirius. And Francesco. I trust Francesco. Not Oleander though. Would I go with Oleander? Yes. Do I trust Oleander? Not as far as I can throw him, and that's not far at all. So, there's that answer. The light here is lower and the sound is muted. It takes a moment, but I recognize the room as a library. The faint hissing of whispered voices confirm that we are not alone in here, even if I cannot see other guests. This is nice. What is it nice for? Sneaking around, getting into mischief. Everyone loves a good library. This is a good library, I will confess. A soft moan tells me exactly what kind of mischief is happening just out of sight. Do you want to take a seat? Let's. Girl, there's an alcove with a padded bench, perfect for a few lazy hours of reading. Love that. We settle there and he leans in. I can clearly see the fine detailing of his mask. Up close, I can finally see that his mask is gilded too. So, Vigil? Is that what I should call you? It's who I am for the moment. For the moment. I am allowed days off too. And who are you on those days off? Someone else. He chuckles. Message received. I won't ask anymore. But I will ask, what does Vigil do on her days off? Tidying mostly. Really? You should see the state of my room. I have my snake to add to the piles. He laughs, leaning in and bumping me. He rests a hand on my back. The hand stays even as he pulls back. I'd like that. To see a messy room? The hand slides up a little. He's being very familiar. To see your messy room. It's important to be specific about these things. Let him touch, tell him stop. No, he gives me the creeps. I'm gonna ask you to stop. I feel a little less at ease with Adonis at this moment. Being a little familiar with me, aren't you? Fake it till you make it, as they say. Well, not this time. He takes his hand off my back. He's still sitting close, but him keeping his hands to himself is already a significant improvement. Apologies. I'll see to it that I earn the right to be close to you. That being said, I wonder if you have a strict prohibition on all touch or if you would be less bothered in a more private scenario. The sound of a rogue moan from amongst the shelves is a firm reminder that we are not alone in this room. You did offer me to show your room, after all. Well, even if he's a little too familiar, I can't fault him for cowardice. I'm working right now. I'd rather not. Not in this route, not in this playthrough. I'm flattered you'd be interested in my room, but I'm not giving any tours at the moment. Not even private ones for interested parties? No, I should think not. He does seem to understand me, and I shall withdraw my interest for now. But if that should change... He stands up. Then he takes a little card from inside his jacket and hands it to me. In case you decide to get in touch. It's a hand-printed card with his name and an address on it. Is there a secret password? He smirks wide and leans in. He whispers something remarkably filthy in my ear. Does that suffice? I'm still attempting to gather my thoughts. It's certainly unique. I'm afraid I must leave you now, but don't forget that address, that password, and you'll have my full attention. He leaves. Well, that was something. His attention was a little unsettling. I mean, I know some people go to these parties to get hit on and stuff, but I just came here to work. I know things are different in the marketplace, but even so, I didn't expect to be approached out of the blue like this. The best I can say for him is that he backed off a bit when I asked. It's inevitable that I would end up in Oleander's orbit again, even if he wasn't my employer. He somehow makes himself the center of the party no matter where he is. Even when he's alone, as he is now, I am able to smoothly fall into set beside him as he moves. Vigil, welcome back. Good to see you haven't gotten into trouble. Now don't pretend to be my minder now. I'd be much more concerned about you causing trouble. I've been having some adventures. Oh, enlighten me then. Someone who called himself M would approach me? He'd seen us together and decided that the best way to get a meeting with you was through me. That name sounds extraordinarily fake. You're the one to talk, Mr. Absinthe. I didn't think I should be the one deciding your business calendar, so I told him to speak to somebody else. Not to me directly. If he was approaching me, he already knew you were here and didn't reach out to you. Well, I didn't expect you to start vetting clients for me this soon, but I suppose I can't complain. Speaking of which, the card I received from Iodana sits heavily in my pocket. Nah, we telling Big Daddy. Big Daddy, this man tried to hit on me. I have a new admirer. That bad, was it? I hold out the business card. Oleander takes it from me and his posture changes. Well, I may have to have a word with him. You don't need to on my behalf. It's not that. Adonis is a competitor of mine. Hard as it may be to believe, he doesn't like me very much. But I will not have him interfering with my employees as part of this feud. Aw, you think this is about you? He may very well find you intriguing and charming. In fact, I rather suspect he does. But I wouldn't be surprised if his interest in you had something to do with being my assistant. He returns the card to me. I suspect you're not interested in meeting him again, but if you do, tread lightly. It goes back to regular. Now, are you gonna ask what I've been up to? Have you been flirting and deal-making and putting yourself in the heart of the party? However did you guess? I love him. You are, if you'll forgive me for saying, sir, a bit predictable. He chuckles, the sound coming from deep in his chest. He leans in close, his mask brushing the hood of my cloak, and then he rumbles. Just because you haven't seen them yet doesn't mean I'm not full of surprises, Sleepy. Oh. I feel like I've just noticed a steep drop that I've been walking past unawares. As much as I'm startled by it, the adrenaline rush that comes is thrilling. But how about a drink first? You told me not to drink! Aren't you the one who told— Yeah, you told me not to drink! Oh dear, you've seen through my clever trap. How clever is asking me to drink after telling me not to? Regardless, I will have to decline. Good thinking. Call me good. Don't out yourself, Sleepy. He taps the top of my head in an odd gesture, but maybe he's loosening up. He's definitely indulging in some drinks. Then, to my surprise, Oleander takes a silent step back. Oh. Before I can respond, someone has replaced him. A man, I think, wearing a gilded wolf mask with a distinct patina. Hello, you're the newest vigil, if I recall. I am. Excellent. I was looking forward to meeting you. I'd say the same, but I don't know who you are. Ah, yes, you can call me. They think about it just long enough that they may be putting on a show. Wolf. That'll do nicely. Pleased to meet you, Wolf. I'm certain that's your name. I see why he likes you. Thank you. Is that why you wanted to meet me? In a manner of speaking, yes. I don't know how much you know about Oleander's previous assistants. Only that the last one left to pursue another career? Well, that was an unusual case, but some of his other assistants left when they founded trading careers of their own. Makes sense. Treat working for him like an apprenticeship. Exactly. And those assistants have gone to be quite successful, and unfortunately, I failed to see their potential in time. So I'm a business opportunity? Patron sounds more appealing, I would say. I think I could bring a few opportunities your way, and in exchange for that assistance, you might be able to find some things that you could do for me. Can't say I expected this. It's an appealing offer, but do you need a response now? Parties like these feel like good places to propose deals, but not to seal them. He laughs. No, I agree with you. Neither the time or place to make that choice. He picks up 2 wine glasses from a passing tray and holds one out to me. But you'll think on it, won't you? I'm not taking that glass. I wave my hand just enough to signal the rejection of the wine. No need to bribe me. I think on this offer even if you didn't give me wine. I would be an idiot not to take this chance. I doubt a patron can open more doors for me than Oleander can, but if I have even more chance to find Lunar Core without him, I need to take it. But I'm not about to be desperate about it. My new patron leaves, and Oleander fills the gap, as if he was never gone. Have I lost you to a better offer then? I received a very tempting offer to become a pleasure parlor bunny. But I remembered you ordered me not to do that, and so we renegotiated. Well, I'm glad I can trust somebody to stand by me. And now I have an important question. I'm bracing myself. How are you at dancing? Quite good. I do the best I can. I can mess up the dance flow in many ways. I'm quite good, actually. What a coincidence. So am I. Shall we show the rest of the party how it's done? He offers me his arm. I like the sound of that. He better sweep me across this floor. The musicians strike up a new tune, so we cross over to the dance floor. Why is he so pretty? Well timed. You'd be surprised how often a little observation and foreknowledge will go in impressing people. He settles his hand on my waist. I'll take the lead this time. Daddy, please. We're not strong enough. Oh, not going to let me sweep you off your feet? That is something I would love to see. The music is playing a sultry tune in 4, and it's easy to predict what style of dance Oleander is going to take. His hand closes around mine and we begin to glide across the dance floor. He is a confident leader and I know exactly how to follow. So, Vigil, what do you think of this? I never imagined myself at a party like this. It's vulgar. It's impressive. It's vulgar. I can't say I like seeing all this wealth spent on something unnecessary. It's quite ostentatious, I agree. Overindulgence is a vice, after all. But I'm afraid it's not for you or I to decide this wealth is spent. We'll just have to make good use of Lord Valentine's money ourselves. And from the sound of it, you've made some good progress as my assistant. That's a generous assessment. As much as I would prefer you to be flawless from the start, making mistakes early is a good chance to learn. He signals a turn, then swings his arm out and spins outwards, then back in. He holds me close, bends forward in a shallow dip. Oh, he is smooth. He is a smoothie. He is a mango peach smoothie. And what do you think? Is this life something you like? I like it. I like him. The life of a merchant's assistant isn't so bad. I think I can come to enjoy this. Oh, so a beautiful outfit and a high-class party are only enough to make you think you might enjoy this life? What'll it take you to convince you you're insatiable? You'll just have to keep impressing me. That won't be too hard for you, right? I'm glad you're beginning to understand. We turn across the dance floor. It isn't a contest, but we are easily the most graceful pair on the floor. It is a Why are we so competitive in this route? Oleander's hold on me is firm, but proper. He makes no effort to pull me closer into the dance hold. or sink his hand lower than it should. For a man so open and forward about his sexuality, it comes as a bit of a surprise. I suppose I've judged him unfairly in that way. I have an impulse, and I don't deny it. Oh, we bad. We're bad. I hold tighter to Oleander's shoulder and pull myself just that bit closer. It doesn't take him long to understand. Oh, is that the game we're playing? He growls those words, and his hand presses firm and lower on my waist. I can feel the beat of the music intensifying. When he dips me again, his face is so close to mine I can hear our masks scrape against each other. I know he likes to present himself as always having fun, but this is the first time I feel like he's having fun without any secondary motive. He's just dancing. It was a secondary motive, alright. Just wasn't the one we was used to. When the music ends, I can't even speak because I'm so flustered from him. When the music ends, we retreat to the edge of the dance floor. Vigil, let's talk. How worried should I be? I get the distinctive impression he's smiling at me. Let's take this somewhere a little more private. I expect him to go towards the library, but instead he leads me towards the stairs, and we climb. At the top of the stairs, there is what amounts to a walkway that wraps around the ballroom, with the floor below an easy view. There are people up here, but fewer than I would have guessed. I suppose compared to the library, this is not ideal for most kinds of antics, but it is at least a little quieter. Let's take a stroll, shall we? Oleander offers his hand and I take it. We start our stroll. It's good to be back. I was away from this sort of thing for a while, you know. Down in the dust chambers? You were listening. Well done. It's my job, isn't it? I'd be a poor assistant if I wasn't paying attention to you. Facts. Except all those times you sent me away, of course. And in sending you away, you had plenty of adventures. Spreading your wings is important in this business. You know what? I really like that about him. Like, he's not mad that his assistants are necessarily, like, more so apprentices, and they, like, go and do their own thing eventually. He's just kind of like, But it's also kind of sad, because then he's always alone. It's alright, Daddy, I'll stay. I'll be your baby mama. I ain't mad about it. And I quite like you, Sleepy. Not everyone wants to or can keep up with me. I'm glad to have someone with me who is able to follow me so well. His voice gets gentler for a second, and I quite like you, Sleepy. Not everyone wants to or can keep up with me. I'm glad to have someone with me who is able to follow me so well. His voice gets so gentle for a second. I don't trust easily, and you're certainly not there yet. But it's been easy to start the process with you. I don't know how to say what's in my head. If I tell Oleander that being with him has been fun and enlightening, an experience I'm glad to be having, I doubt he'd take me seriously for long. And his ego would be unbearable. It's been a pleasure working with you. You say that like you're about to stop. At least wait until the night is over before you decide to leave me. I still have something show-stopping to show you. What is it, Oleander? He makes it sound sexual. Of course. Is that your way of propositioning me? Depends on if you're looking to be propositioned and what you would want from that. I've hardly had a chance to think that far. We just met. If you're as good as your boasting makes you sound, it's not boasting if it's accurate. Then it's just a statement of fact. After all the facts you've implied to me, your record sounds incredible. Now I'm curious if that man lives up to the legend. After tonight, if you still want to work with me, you can always ask. You won't be winning any advantages in your career, but if you can consider a good fluff its own reward, well... That's not what I was expecting him to say. At least he's not expecting sexual favors from me. I'll consider it. I'm glad. Give it a thought. It's not long until we finished a complete circuit of the walkway. Well, I've got one more bit of business to accomplish tonight. Come along, Vigil. This will be something memorable. I feel a strange sense of anticipation build in me. Oleander promising something memorable has, so far, paid off in impressive sights. He takes us back to the entrance of the hallway, approaching a member of the staff. I believe Lord Valentine has agreed to meet privately with me. Of course, sir. The staff member starts walking and we walk half a step behind them. Just like that? I know Oleander's distinctive, but even so, I would not expect to just be taken to the lord of the house without some kind of proof. Perhaps he has closer relationship to the master of this house than he mentioned? We walk back to a familiar hall toward the library. The staff member leads us through the labyrinth, and somehow we do not come across any couples in the midst of private business. Here you are. Thank you, Clarity. Oleander tosses the staff member a coin. They bow and leave, and Oleander knocks on the door. Lord Valentine, I believe you are willing to speak with me. It's Oleander. Come in, Oleander. Lord Valentine's office feels like a natural extension of the library. He said, I wear my hair back and forth. Lord Valentine himself is a surprisingly small presence in the room, though not for lack of trying. He's dressed ornately, sitting at an impressive desk. He nods to us but does not stand. Strange. I've taken the liberty to order us a bottle of wine. I'm certain you don't mind. Did he? Perhaps while I was off on my own merry adventures. When I threw this party, I thought I would get to enjoy some carousing myself. Ah, the terrible weight of being sought after. I hope for the sake of future carousing that fewer people take an interest in you. Lord Valentine scoffs. Oh, pardon me. I forgot to introduce myself properly. I am Oleander. As you well know, I pride myself as a merchant capable of both discretion and trustworthiness. He bows. And this is my assistant, Vigil. I bow. A pleasure to meet you, Lord Valentine. The pleasure is all mine. I haven't taken my eyes off you this whole time. In what do I owe your interest? Oleander slides gracefully into the chair across Lord Valentine. I stay standing, hovering over his shoulder in case I need to act up. In case I need to show out. Hovering over him like a decoration. Aw, I've heard that you might need a new merchant contract, and I thought I would put forth the best name I know. Mine. Lord Valentine chuckled. A bold stance. Tell me, how would you live up to it? If I had a pen It's a paper. I can record the details of the meeting plainly. As it stands, I can only just keep up with the rapid conversation between the two men. As ridiculous as they might be, both of them understand trade very well. If I'm right, it's a lucrative deal if we get it. A knock on the door interrupts the talk. Vigil, if you would. I answer the door and bring in the bottle of wine. This is familiar. I don't say anything as I hand the bottle off to Oleander. If he wants to pretend the bottle of wine he brought actually came from Lord Valentine's cellar, that's his business. Lord Valentine's opened the drawer of his desk and brings out 3 wine glasses, short ones for liquor as opposed to wine glasses. Does the assistant drink, Oleander? No, she's not one for drinking. Oleander pours a glass for himself and Lord Valentine. He's not wrong, but he could at least let me say it for myself. Perhaps I need to give him another nudge in the shin later. Oleander and Lord Valentine clink their glasses together and drink. Oleander moans satisfied. I love doing business with the lords of the market. They serve the best wines. There's an unusual taste to this one. I will have to ask where it came from later. Now, where were we? Discussing the man currently causing you trade difficulties. Right. Lord Valentine sounds slightly strained. Oleander is exhausting, but Lord Valentine must not have much stamina. They've barely been going at it for 10 minutes. If I am to join you in your trade enterprise, I would like to know what you plan to do with your roadblock. We're still deciding between what options. Bribery may work. If the roadblock is just interested in lining his own pockets, there's always threats. Lord Valentine's breathing is getting heavy. But I know you better than that. You're the kind of person who sees a problem and hires an assassin about it. What? You heard me perfectly well. Lord Valentine's reaches for his throat. Hush, Sleepy. All is well. How is it possible for a person to choke on air? Lord Valentine's breath comes in thin, labored heaves. He can't get his voice out. Lord Valentine pounds on his desk. Well, look at that. You should be grateful, you know. If I had my way, I'd be killing you very slowly. What? The fluff is happening. I couldn't believe my luck. Getting a rare personal invitation to Lord Valentine's estate? No references needed? And he was willing to take a meeting? Oleander stands and pounds the desk himself, leaning over Lord Valentine. Greedy old bastards like you never change. You're the same as you ever were. He levers his mask off his face slightly and spits on the desk. Just die already. If I don't get to savor it, at least make it quick. Lord Valentine stands unsteadily. He looks straight at me, one hand outstretched. I'm watching a man die. I can't move. I can barely breathe myself, my lungs squeezing tight with fear. He collapses, arms stretched towards me. I'm gonna throw up. I do, retching violently and making a mess of the beautiful cloak I was given only hours before. I only just barely pull the bottom of my mask off my face. Oleander's hand is gentle on my back, rubbing his palms in a circle over my spine. Well, you're certainly not about to forget this. I'm sorry you had to see that, Sleepy. Unfortunately, I needed you here. I'm trembling. It's not just about Lord Valentine lying dead on the floor. How are you still breathing? The wine you made me pick up. It was poison, but you drank it. I've had a lot of time to prepare for this moment, including developing a strong stomach and a high tolerance for darker things. If I look up, I will have to see his mask, and I don't want to. But I don't want him to think I'm vulnerable, in case he tries something with me. There he is. Fine and unreadable. A dangerous combination. I know this is difficult for you right now. He cups my cheek through my hood. But right now, I need you to play along with me. You got that, Sleepy? Lord Valentine just died suddenly. He and I both drank the wine from his cellar. That's what you need to say. I'm trembling in earnest. Shocked from seeing someone die? Fear that I'll be next? My empty stomach churns. I'm in hell. I have to scream now. Cover your ears if you need to. He turns to the door and stumbles toward it. Help! For the love of Lunar God, we need help! Lord Valentine just died! Help! Not that big. You just watched a man die. Good end. You've learned the rules of the game. Ciao. So, that was Oleander. I love this game. I love it so much that I joined the developers Discord. We have one more Obscura video. We finally got to meet the last character. I am in love. I'm in love. I'm in love. I know I said that with every single character, but I just need you to know that I am for real in love. Like, give me a silly, charming, broken man. I will in fact heal him with the kitty cleanse. Anyway, thank you so much for spending time with me. I love having you here. I love seeing your face. I love being oh so cozy and oh so sleepy together. And I hope you remember that moment by moment, day by day, we are blossoming like a flower of lavender, calm, collected, and fragrant. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!